in, we can be ready, we can start, yeah? Okay, so I think for Connie, welcome back to this session. Today we will start on the day two, the second part of the health-related issues. I think here there are so many areas to cover under the health. We don't know how long it will take. I will go on only as long as the interests are there, as it is. Okay, so I think once again, here when we look into the part of reading, there will always be the three most popular issues, the three key issues that people would talk about. And of course, the three key issues have to do with the three stages of the person's life. So when we're dealing with, teenagers or young adults, I think their main occupation would be relationship. Therefore, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse would be quite something that they might be more into. So we look into peach blossom, we look into the marriage stars and so on. Then of course into the adult, into middle age, then we may be looking into career and investment. And so to which of course we also have to look into it. Now just to remind you once again, we talk about relationship, we talk about peach blossom. We also talk about the marriage star. So the marriage, we also talk about also with other family members. When we talk about career and investment, remember, now which of the natal chart is more important? Is it the year? Is it a month? Is it the day? Or is it the hour? So when we look into investment, which would it be?
Investment is our pillar.
Yeah, our pillar. Investment.
Career will be month pillar.
Career will be month pillar. Very good. Okay. Therefore, okay. Therefore, for career, we look at the month pillar, and investment, we look into the hour pillar. Of course, for Mings, under Professor Joe, she would also say that the marriage or spouse is also under the month. But of course, it depends on how you look into it. Sometimes it's about the stages in a person's life. That's all. Okay, but of course, now we move on into the third part. I think this is a part where when people are more than 40 years old, 50 years old, and above, then health becomes the key issue. Therefore, they might be more interested. So that more appealing to the younger ones. Okay, so as you look into this, therefore, we will now move on into health. Today is the part 2. The first thing, of course, is again as a refresher to what we have covered, that each heaven stem represents an organ. We of course have the yang organ. We also have the yin organ. We also look into the branch and what each of these branch would also represent. Our main focus today is of course on wood. So today we'll start on wood, which of course covers a very exceptionally very important organ in a person, which is liver. Now, liver itself has about 500 functions to very, very micro. But of course, generally, to most of us, liver is a part that processes fat, that breaks down fat, digestive system into food. Liver also, of course, is the storage of blood, storage of glucogen, and of course, it is a part for detox, to detoxify and so on. Right. So as we look into this part, we will see how the liver interacts with the heart, the earth, and so on. The principles remains the same, whether the element is weak or strong, the destruction, the clash, the weakening, the productive that we have also already covered. And of course, as many of us would know, that each of these organs has their time as well. Each of these organs would also have their time. And wood time is, of course, starting from 11 o'clock. So that is why, based on the Chinese health or metaphysics, it is always highly recommended that people sleep early. And early here means before 11 p.m. 11 p.m. Okay, so because this is where from 11 to 1 o'clock is the gallbladder, then from 1 to 3 is the liver. So therefore, for people who sleep very late, late means of course after 11, then it tends to affect the liver. So from 11 to 3 o'clock would be the regeneration of the gallbladder or the liver. Right. So for that would be the wood period would be during that period. So to recover, to recuperate. All right. As we move on to the next part. Now, of course, when we cover the issue of health, this is, as usual, a very complex area. And of course, you know that I'm not a trained medical expert. We'll just try to interpret the Pakcik charts and how you link to health, which is a very difficult area to overcome. And so that is why even if you go into many of the people who talk about Pakcik out there, from even Datuk Joy Yap to even those, most of them shy away from this area. You can find lots of issues about relationship and career, but very few would like to venture into this area. It's quite tricky. And maybe, of course, also that we are not really qualified to provide any health issue. So please bear in mind the disclaimer. I am not qualified, neither am I giving you any health solutions for today. All right. Now, once again, let us remind ourselves what things each of them represents. Our main focus today, of course, will be wood. So we'll pay more special attention to wood, where, of course, Jia, Yang element, the main one is the liver. And somehow do remember that liver is connected to the head. And, of course, the yin is, what is yin? Yin is tiger. Yin is tiger. Mao is what? Rabbit. So Mao is rabbit and yin is tiger. And so the rabbit represents the hands and the eyes. Yin, of course, tiger represents the legs. And then the yi wood represents the gallbladder. Okay, then of course we do see that each of them has. Now, can you please tell me, tiger clash with what animal? Anybody? Anybody knows tiger? Tiger clash with what?
Monkey.
Monkey. So
Monkey.
tiger clash with monkey.
Monkey.
All right. Okay. So again, just like the way you read the chart, just like the way you would read charts. Now, of course, when we talk about clash, as you know, metal and wood will clash. But when we say metal or wood will clash, whether is it external clash or internal clash? If it is external clash, that means metal. If metal is outside, that means here, if we talk about internal, external, so then of course the reading, most of the time for wood and metal. So internal of course means natal. Internal means natal. If let's say the wood is here, if wood is here and metal is here, therefore this represents internal clash. So this is an internal clash. Metal and wood clash, internal clash. Now, internal clash, of course, today once again, internal clash can mean many things. If today's topic is on relationship, then it will then talk about who is metal to you, who is wood to you. Is that your spouse? Is that your husband? Is that your wife? Is that therefore that's internal clash. But today, of course, we talk about health. Therefore, it's about organs. So therefore, the health is about organs. Now, of course, it can also be external clash. So it's also external clash. So if it's external clash, of course, definitely means outside. Now, one of the manifestation of metal and wood clash, even in health, may mean car accident. May mean car accident. So that's why wood people must be more careful, because wood people have accident luck. Accident luck. And so in the year when the metal, when the wood meets metal, metal comes clashing in, would that mean kena accident? Kena accident. People bang you, people bang you. Of course, if the other way around, if you are metal, so if you are metal, then of course you have wood outside, then you clash people, therefore clashing out. Therefore, we call this clashing out. So clashing out, clashing in. So clashing out, clashing in, different meaning. Clashing out, clashing in, different meaning. Location to where the clash is, also different meaning, as it is. Therefore, here we can consider that if you have a tiger and a monkey, therefore the clash has to do with your intestine, lungs, affecting your. In a way, you can see that even though it's wood, wood can also mean broader part. So not just hands and legs, but intestine and liver. You can also consider that to be the kind of concept, whereby metal clashing wood would mean something to do with the intestine affecting the liver, impacting the liver. Okay. All right. Now, have you all heard of something called coffee enema?
Yes.
Okay. So coffee enema, of course, coffee enema cleans the colon, and colon, of course, you clean the intestine, you clean the intestine. But the purpose of the coffee in the enema is basically for it to be absorbed into the gallbladder and to the liver. Therefore, it's a liver detox. It's a liver detox. Therefore, coffee enema via the gallbladder, via the intestine, via the colon, the big intestine, to clean the gallbladder and to the liver. So therefore, in a way, it is a kind of, in a way, you can say that you fulfill the clash. You fulfill the clash because sometimes we have this saying. We have this saying that you cannot change. You cannot change. You cannot change. But I would rather say that not to say you cannot change. Not say you cannot change. You can change. You can change, but by fulfilling it. You can change by fulfilling it. Okay, so that is why some of them believe that if there is a clashing, if there's an external clash, then sometimes the remedy to some people is donate blood. They donate blood. Because if there is a car accident and there is a reading that there will be bleeding, then donate blood. Because if you donate blood, then you bled already. You have already bled already. And of course, when you donate blood, there will be a metal, a piece of metal will be poked into your veins and blood will come out. Therefore, you fulfill it. You fulfill it. But in a way, you change. You change. Because if there's an element, there is an element. Something along the line. I hope it's not too abstract, philosophical to understand that you can change by fulfilling it. So when it comes, you fulfill it. All right, so therefore, this is a part about metal and monkey clash. Then we also have your rabbit. Rabbit clash with what? Rabbit. Rabbit will clash with the rooster. Therefore, you have a rabbit rooster clash. Okay. So rabbit rooster clash will have to do with your, in a way, genitals, sexual organs. It has to do with genitals, sexual organs. It has to do with blood. Blood. Because in a way, liver is also the storage of blood. Liver is where the blood is stored, the energy. So therefore, there will be, so a poor or bad liver will have something to do with your blood. So therefore, a little bit more into that part as well. All right, so this will be a bit more about looking into the clash. Therefore, when metal clashing wood, how do we read that? So how do we read when metal clashes wood? Okay. Now, what is the relationship between wood and earth?
Wood control earth.
Wood controls earth. So wood controls earth. Therefore, a very strong wood will then controls earth, controls the stomach. And so if the earth is strong, then wood will not be able to control, or basically, or if wood becomes weak, therefore this will also be where the stomach, or the spleen, or the abdomen will then not be, will then also experience some growth. Therefore, that will be how we can consider, because when you talk about controlling, you're talking about restricting. You're talking about restricting. And therefore, earth needs to be restricted. If earth is not restricted, if earth is not restricted, therefore this will be where when the water comes, the water will wash away the earth, and water and earth is a measurement for what we know as cancer. So water and earth mixed together is normally a reading for cancer. Okay, so therefore wood basically is to filter, wood filters and prevent cancer, because if there's wood to restrict the earth will not be washed away. In simple observation, whenever a mountain has trees, when the rain comes, there will not be flash flood, because the tree will hold on to the earth and prevent the water from washing it away. Therefore, that's where the relationship between the wood linking to the water. All right, more to come after this, but this is just a very broad area to begin with, looking into the interaction between wood and all the other elements. And understand we'll come to link to it. And so here we'll look into your day master, the day master. So what kind of day master are you? Jia, ping, fire, earth, metal, or water. And therefore, first of all, we look into what is your day master. And then based on your day master, what is the kind of problems or health related problems that you may face. And naturally, of course, day master for liver, because our main emphasis today is wood. Therefore, the rest will be more or less discussed later. But wood, so wood people problem. So wood, those with wood will have a liver problem. Migraine, because wood also leads to the head. It leads to the head. Now let's just do an experiment. Let's just run through an experiment. Let me just go very quickly to this part. Now, can you come to look at this? This is an acupressure point. Somewhere along this part of your hand, you try to press your left hand or your right hand. Which one feels painful when you press? Try. Can you press it? Are you able?
I don't.
Huh?
I don't understand. Press which part of the hand?
Press this part of the hand. This part of the hand is very soft one. This part of the hand is very soft. It's just between your bones. Between your bones. So between your bones over to the part somewhere around there. I'm not too sure whether I can show you or not. This part of your.
Oh.
Maybe mine is left hand.
Huh?
Left hand.
Left hand pain. Mostly it's left hand. Okay. Left hand pain usually means liver problem. Okay. So liver problem. But this is also acupressure. So acupressure. Oh yeah, sorry. Anyone pregnant or not? Anyone pregnant, please don't press. Anyone pregnant, please don't press. Okay, sorry, too late. Okay, anyone pregnant, please don't press. Don't press. Therefore, on the back of your hand, between the bone. So the part that you press, there's no bone on. It's just a very soft part between your part. And then when you pain, this would be. So therefore, from this is a remedy. This is a remedy, that acupressure remedy. So press often. This will be, like feng shui, right? You activate. So feng shui, meridian point you activate for the house. So this is meridian point for your, it's a liver. The left hand actually is the one. Okay, so anyway, this will be one part. Yes, it is. So Connie did ask a question. Yes, house location does affect. It does affect a wood person. Huh? It does affect. Huh? Therefore, yeah, to a certain degree, the reading is also like that. It also depends on your house, lah. Where do you stay and what part of it. Huh? Because sometimes they also say there's an interaction between feng shui and also related to the wood people. Okay, yeah, maybe I should have yeah, maybe yeah, I think yeah, that would be more or less mixing health to feng shui also. That's another area. It's a very complicated part, huh? Right. Okay, right. That's anyway. We'll look into liver problem, migraine, asthma, stroke, bone as well. And again, we will try to remind ourselves that even the very ancient Hippocrates would say that all disease starts in the gut. All disease starts in the gut. And I would also like to say that for the case of, like Earth is always in the middle. Earth is always the one without direction. So Earth is Chong. Earth is in the middle. Therefore, it aligns to the part where it has to look into how it starts all in the gut to come on into the stomach into the ear there. So, but anyway, I'll just move along. And of course, as we try to cover today's topic, definitely there will be no strong. I'm not recommending anything, but there's no strong bias towards medicine. That means usually it will be more that we try to avoid external medicine as much as possible. We look for natural remedy, we look for health, we look for acupuncture, acupressure, and so on. All right, now, so to know whether you have liver issues or not, usually the traditional Chinese medicine practitioner will look into your eyes, because here in the book by COM, the traditional medicine book, the liver opens to the eyes. The liver opens to the eyes. Therefore, they look for your eyes. Of course, the eyes will reveal a lot of other things as well, but there was one to look at liver. And also, of course, the nails. They will also manifest in the nails. So when we look into the nails, if there's a moon, if there's a very nice and shiny and no problem, then it's an indication of liver. I'm sure many of us may know that as well. And of course, tendon, also tendon. So if you have any tendon pain, that will also lead on to liver nonetheless. And of course, for female, then there will be also that issue about the menstruation cycle, nonetheless. All right. Okay, so therefore we'll look into the part issue and let's move along. Okay, so here we'll try to make a bit of sense into what the liver symptom patterns are generally all related, and therefore you may consider, I mean, this is a bit of English, adrenal symptoms. So adrenal symptoms, skin problem. If there are pimples, reddish blue streak, high blood pressure, high blood sugars would also be considered to it. And again, wood is about growth. Wood is about growth. And therefore, wood problem would then have slow growth rate in children. So if the children is growing very slowly, then wood is low, wood is poor. That would be something to consider as well. All right. And then, of course, here we'll consider that the issue about wood is also the hormone or the level of cortisol. Cortisol level can also be based on stress, and therefore cortisol is is being produced by this adrenal gland that will balance up your blood sugar. And therefore, if the gland is not strong or good, then there will be blood sugar problem. And blood sugar problem will then lead to sleep problem, energy problem. And therefore, the telltale sign that we know is when a person is tired, waking up in the morning, tired, waking up in the morning. Therefore, that would be the issue as well. And a person who likes salt, so they like salt. Therefore, there's a craving for salty stuff, craving for salt. And of course, when you crave for salt, and if you do eat a lot of salt, then you will then end up with high blood pressure. Therefore, it's all part and parcel of the relation. Now, under the 5 elements, salty is which element? What is the element for salty? Because wood is sour. Okay, wood is sour. So under the 5 tastes, sour is wood. Fire is what? Fire is bitter. Fire is bitter. Metal is spicy. Earth is sweet. So earth is sweet, and water is salty. And therefore, salty is water. And so when wood is weak, they need water. Water produces wood. So water strengthens wood. Therefore, craving for salt. Craving for salt. And craving for salt is a sign of a so-called adrenal gland. So this is where, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to do is to tie in the pakchi, to tie in the 5 elements into the medical phenomena. Therefore, if the medical phenomena is like that, then the pakchi try to explain it in another meaning. So if your wood is weak, you want water, and water means you crave for salt. And when you crave for salt in an imbalanced manner, then you end up with high blood pressure, you end up with skin problems, a bit of skin problem as well as it comes along. Okay, and so now let's take a look into the liver meridian. Are you all right? Now, the liver meridian will link from the toe, the big toe. So therefore, the liver meridian point will link from your toe, and it goes up into this part on the right side, on the right side of your body, okay? On the right side. So just now when I asked you to press your hand, that one was on the left side. Okay, so that one was on your left hand. So when you press your left hand, you feel pain. That is an indication. But on the right side of your body, on the right side of your body, the meridian point starts from your toe and it goes up to the right side of your part to the genitals, so therefore genitals, male and female, both male and female, the liver circle encircles the external genitals. It goes into the lower abdomen on the right side. Therefore, if you exercise, if you run, or if you work rigorously and you feel pain on the right side lower abdomen, then it's also an indication that your liver is not very strong on the right side. Okay. I'm not talking about appendicitis, that's different. That one is also on the right side, but that one is another different story. Okay. So the right side on the lower abdomen, and it links to your gallbladder, because liver and gallbladder, this is wood. So wood is liver and gallbladder, definitely. And then it will pass through your diaphragm, connect to the lung meridian, because lung is metal, remember? Lung is metal. Therefore, metal and wood clash. Metal and wood clash means you have some lung and some liver issue. So how it links into it. So anyway, just want to make the connection there. Okay, then it goes up to your breast. It goes up to your breast as well. Male and female. Male and female. Therefore, if there are pain on the breast area, right side, therefore it's also another sign. So therefore, along the side. So these are the if anyone feels pain along this part, then of course it does goes up, and it goes up. It does connect. It does connect to also to the head. So it goes up to the head here. Therefore, that's why another sign is migraine. Migraine, headache. Headache, especially on the right side. Remember, so liver here is on the right side meridian point. As you look into the visual. Okay, so so therefore the alga is on the right side of the hypochondria, to the location of the liver. All right. Okay. So here these are certain parts about understanding the acupressure. So the acupressure point of for acupuncturists who are trying to help to solve the liver issues. Yeah. So these are the telltale signs and the liver symptoms that. Okay. Now to a bit more about the traditional Chinese medicine now on liver. And what are the key issues? Huh? Now, the one thing is that now when we talk about the 5 emotions, fear, sadness, thinking, happiness, and angry, which emotion will be represented by wood? Which of the 5 emotions is represented by wood? Anger. Okay. And so wood people, the more wood you have, and if your wood is unfavorable, or if wood is not good, if it is in a very unfavorable season, wood people have a lot of anger in them, internalized anger. I know of a young boy, a young man. He's a wood. He's a jia shi people, and a lot of internal anger. Into it. No, Connie, it's not. Fire is about passion. Fire is happiness. So the more fire you have, the more happiness, joy, and so on into it. Therefore, anger is wood is anger. And so when you read Pakchi, when you read somebody's natal chart, if the person's wood is there, and if it is unfavorable, is weak, then anger. So therefore, the anger is emotion. You know, now why are they angry? Why are people angry? Now sometimes anger is why do you get angry? Why do people get angry? And of course, you're going to psychology now. Why do people get angry? Sometimes people get angry because they of things that they cannot control. Okay? Something that happens outside their control, which stresses them. Stresses them. Oh, really, Connie? I didn't know that. I mean, I just followed. Well, this is part of the TCM, and also the Pakchi, which I know. Even Joey Yap's cheat sheet also have anger. Okay. All right, come. So let's try to appreciate this. That wood people. So wood people, whenever they are stressed. So wood people, when they are stressed, they can become irritable. They're very frustrated. PMS for ladies, high blood pressure, tight muscles, and headache. Being wood up sometimes make wood type crave alcohol. Therefore, there is one issue with wood people. They crave alcohol. Or at least that's what we understand. Okay, so let's move along. And so here we'll try to link wood to alcohol. Later we'll try to get some reading. Okay, so there are 2 things here. Number 1, okay, all these are a little bit more about TCM language, traditional Chinese medicine language, conveyance, dispersion. Therefore, they will try to regulate the qi and they try to filter. So wood is about filter. So remember that we talk about Pakchi. Wood is about fostering growth. Wood is filter. Wood is good for filter. Wood in grip, and so it's an excellent for filter. Okay, so therefore, if liver fails to perform very well, if it fails to perform very well, then they will obstruct the liver region. And then the signal will be traveled to the liver meridian. And so your symptom will feel chest pain, breast pain, abdomen pain, swollen and painful. Eyes are red, dizziness, and therefore these are some of the symptoms. The symptoms that it can be manifest to know that the liver is bad. The liver is in poor health. Okay, so therefore it also regulates emotions. The emotions here is anger and cannot control sometimes lead to depression. Lead to depression. So therefore, mental depression is a psychological health that is also related to wood. Okay, so when we talk about health, we are not just talking about physical health. We can also talk about mental health. So the psychological health for wood is also depression. So depression, alcoholism, anger is the emotions and effect. And therefore, based on TCM, when somebody feels very angry, they can feel pain in this part, the chest pain, the abdomen pain can be felt. Okay. I can't say that I've never been that angry until my chest has been painful. Maybe I'm lucky enough in life not to be so angry. But anyway, I got no wood in my chart, so I think that will be into it. All right, on the affiliated functions of the liver, again, this is TCM, traditional Chinese medicine principles. Emotion, anger lies in the liver. Liver governs the nails and the tendons, so therefore, looking into the nails will be is a telltale sign of health, and liver opens to the eyes. Okay, so anyway, these are sometimes, I'm not talking about face reading. I'm not talking about that Chinese face reading, whether your face looks like water or metal, but I'm looking into the real nails. You look into people's nails, their eyes, to either tell them whether they have strong wood or weak wood that comes into the part as well. All right. Okay, so other than that, let me just move along quite quickly. We have your poor liver symptoms. Again, it will always affect your migraine, the head, right side, the right side of your head. Brown spots on your body, abdomen level, shoulder blade pain, right side again, right. In fact, this one I did not copy from Chinese medicine. This one I copy from Western. And even Western also says this. It says the same thing. Very nice. Right shoulder blade pain. Crave fatty food as well. Then of course, burping, digestion issues, and again brown spots on your hand. But this time your hand here should be left hand. It should be left. Should be the left hand into the palm. Okay, so anyway, you have the materials. Let me just go through very quickly. And so now let's try to read. Let's try to read people's chart as well. Okay, now to read somebody's chart, this time I didn't print out, which I should have. Let me just take a look into. All right, I think I have some. Hold on, just. Let me just. Hold on, I just go. Okay, let's take a look into a person's chart. Let us take a look at the person's chart. Okay, I can send this to, I can share the chart to you later, but never mind. Okay, this person's chart, okay, I can't read it, is Jimi Hendrix. Let's take a look into Jimi Hendrix chart. Anyway, if anybody who doesn't know who is Jimi Hendrix, we'll just take Jimi Hendrix. Okay, so we have Jimi Hendrix. Let's try to understand. Let's look at this person's chart. So Jimi Hendrix, born in November 27, 1942. So therefore, Jimi Hendrix is born 27th, 1952. And of course, I use the astrodians, so I'm able to get this chart. Sorry, not this chart. This is, sorry, not this chart. Sorry, for the hard to move around. This chart. Now, to take a look into this chart, once again, to check in this chart again, we come into the point. And I take this chart because, number one, he is a Jia. He is a Jia wood. So this is a wood. So today we'll deal with wood people. but not necessarily. From the charts I see, not necessarily that it's always about the Jia Day Master. It's also about wood wherever your wood is. Therefore, we have the Jia Day Master. Okay, but anyway, with wood there. Now we run through the same thing again. The three questions we ask. The first one is, of course, season, isn't it? Season. So Jia Day Master born where? And therefore here we look at it. Wood in which season? So Jimi Hendrix is born in November. Which season is that? What season is November?
Winter.
Winter. So Jimi Hendrix is born in winter. So when born in winter, essentially we then understand that water is very strong. Water is very strong. And we do consider that when we look into wood, water plays a very essential. Water plays a very essential reading. Okay, so when looking into wood, water plays a very essential reading. And to look into water, and water is very strong, water needs to be weakened. Water needs to be weakened. And looking into Jimi Hendrix, it will be considered that if we do look into his Yongshen, he also shared the table. Yongshen is useful God. So the useful God here would be 4, which is fire. So fire is 2 of them. Because born in winter, water is frozen, water is cold. Therefore, definitely needs fire. The Yongshen, the useful God would be fire. So he needs warmth in his chart. Therefore, he's not warm. This is a cold chart. Therefore, we understand that his chart is a cold chart. So cold chart, already very cold. Water is very strong. Do not need to see more water. Do not like to see more water. Fire is needed to be provided to much warmth to the wood. So therefore, the useful God will be fire to regulate, to bring warmth to the chart. Therefore, that will be the part. All right. And the same thing happens to autumn. Those who are born in autumn, same thing. Wood is also weak and trapped, but it needs water. So it needs water. Okay, so therefore as we know, summer and autumn. Summer and autumn is of course hot. And when it's hot, therefore it needs water. It needs water. Water would then be the useful God. And so water would be very much needed. Okay, so the relationship between water to wood, whether it will be winter or spring, therefore we consider that the issue about this is that wood absorbs water. Therefore, it's about the flow. It's about water producing wood. And again, under TCM, under the traditional Chinese medicine philosophy, again, this is called the mother and child relationship. It's called the mother and the child. The mother organ. Therefore, what is the mother organ to liver? Which is the mother organ to liver? And of course, the mother organ to liver is kidneys and bladder. So kidneys and bladder will be the mother organ to the liver. So when water is strong with the kidney and bladder, it will weaken the liver. Therefore, water is too strong, there will be a weakening to the liver. It leads to the liver problem. In a way, let's try to see what is the function of kidney? What is the function of kidney?
Remove the waste.
Waste, that's right. The kidney basically, remember, it's a water-based toxin. Water-based toxin. and the intestine, of course. Intestine, of course, will be the oil base, or at least fat base, fat soluble. So therefore, fat soluble or oil based toxin. So therefore, to clean the blood, to clean the blood. Okay. Kidney cleans the blood. Kidney remove toxins from the blood. And therefore, if the kidney is weak, therefore the blood is dirty. If the blood is dirty, the blood, and then liver is the storage. Liver is the storage of blood. Therefore, the storage will be contaminated. Therefore, water and wood brings about blood contamination, especially from this part. Therefore, here when we come back to this part, incapable of absorbing. Therefore, where wood is incapable of absorbing. Why is it incapable? Because it's weak, water too strong, or whether the water is frozen, weakening water. Therefore, this may be considered to be blood related. Okay, so water is about blood. Therefore, blood related problems. Blood related. So when you see water and wood, then it's blood related problems. Okay, Ken? Hopefully, right? So we come back to this part. So remember, we talk about, just now I talked about metal and wood clashing. Therefore, this is water and wood. So relationship between water and wood is blood. Is blood. Okay. Relationship between water and wood is blood. All right. Yeah. So therefore, that will be just looking into some of these measurements. Yeah. Okay. Now, other than that, we also take a look into the acute liver failure. And so this is Western medicine. What is the main problem with the acute liver problem that you can also see? Now, according to the statistics, actually taking Panadol. Now, it is mentioned. I think there are many research that also supports that Panadol lasts a very long time in your body. It takes about 6 months to actually clear whatever Panadol that you take in your system. Therefore, the toxin and the poison of Panadol stays there. So therefore, Panadol is very harmful for the liver. So one of the key causes for acute liver failure is those who consume too much of Panadol very regularly. Anyway, the Chinese meaning for paracetamol just means pura sitong, I think. And it's just for fun only, because this one is re is fire. Fire weakens wood. This one is more just to help you to remember only. Nothing very significant. It just means that the paracetamol is meant to fight fever, but it itself is also heaty. It's a fight fire kind of a thingy, and it weakens your acute liver. Okay, other than that, you also have medication, because liver is where you process. So those who take too much of medication, medicalization is also a problem, and definitely alcohol. And again, I think I've shared this with you. The way you write, the way that people spell alcohol is of course water and rooster. This is rooster, isn't it? For those who know. Therefore, water and rooster is and you know that rooster is metal, and metal controls liver. Again, these are just symbolism. It's just symbols only, just symbolism to help us to understand that metal controls wood. So therefore, metal cuts the liver into the part. So you have your alcohol consumption. Hepatitis. And hepatitis, of course, is kanyan. So therefore, fire also. But now this is for fun. Acute fatty liver, and of course, many other unexplained reasons as well into it as well. Okay, so therefore here, as it is mentioned, from the medical area, these are the common causes for acute liver failure. Okay, now coming back to that wood meeting method. So I talk about wood meeting method. So when we talk about Jimi Hendrix, we talk about Jimi Hendrix, we will have to look into a few scenarios. Now, one thing about Jimi Hendrix, of course, is okay. The main problem with Jimi Hendrix, of course, is drugs and alcohol abuse. Drugs and alcohol abuse. And so in 1962, he went into a pub. So in 1962, he went into a pub. Oh, I didn't share the part about what happened to the luck pillar for you. Okay, no man. Sorry. So anyway, I'll consider that when he was young in 20-something years old, he will be entering to the pub. Therefore, there's just a bit of a life about him. And then, of course, he started to drink. He started to drink. He started to take drugs. And therefore, basically, he often become angry, violent. And therefore, that would be his life. And of course, I think one day he died because of that. Okay, so in a way, Jimi Hendrix has a alcohol addiction problem. Alcohol addiction problem. So we try to see that how the liver, the wood element explains that. I try to explain that. Okay, come. As you take a look into wood encountering metal, this is where the bladder will suffer from liquid attention problem and other problems with metal, of course, numbness in the hand, as it is. Okay, so therefore this will be when wood meets metal, wood meeting metal. All right, now as you come on into the other part as well, we also have the red rooster destruction. Now, we talk about clash and we talk about combo. So we are talking about clash and we talk about combo. Therefore, we have not much of a time to talk about. This so-called your destruction. I think like I did share with you about the monkey and the snake. Combo destruction, but this is a red rooster destruction. Now, red rooster destruction. So if there is red and rooster in the chart, if there is red and rooster in the chart. But for the case of Jimi Hendrix, no lah. He doesn't have red or rooster in the chart. Maybe let me take a look into another person. Let me just share another person. This one is by the name of Truman. Truman Capote. These are all very old, but Truman Capote. You can, of course, nowadays with internet, you can go and Google his life. Truman Capote. Okay, so anyway, so Truman Capote, he is of course a novelist, playwright. He was the one who wrote the novel Breakfast at Tiffany, which is a very, very popular. So he's a very popular author. He's a very popular author. And his life, what is that? Cause of liver disease, multiple drug intoxication. Therefore, Capote, Mr. Capote died from liver disease. He died from multiple drug intoxication. Now, when you look into Truman Capote's chart, can you see that there's a red and rooster destruction? Can see or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So therefore,
Yes.
therefore you can see that there is a therefore exactly this, where you have your red and rooster side by side. Remember, this is internal. We are talking about internal, okay? We're not talking about external. External and internal have a bit of a different meaning. But internal, external, this exactly is basically liver. So therefore we talk about liver, we talk about alcohol or drugs, because alcohol or drugs will destroy the liver. Alcohol and drugs destroys the liver. And usually, of course, another manifestation is sleep late, late sleeper. Always sleep after 11 p.m. People who sleep after 11 p.m. to 1 o'clock doesn't allow the liver to recuperate. So the liver doesn't recuperate, and then they drink alcohol. This will substantially destroys the liver. And so when we have this, so therefore this will be the meaning of the red rooster destruction. So the red rooster destruction denotes alcohol abuse. And sometimes this alcohol abuse can also come from, again, inferiority complex. Okay. Therefore, red rooster. So people with red rooster in their chart are sometimes very, very unsociable. They are often ostracized. They're often ostracized. They have sometimes poor social skills. They are unable to express themselves. And people who are unable to express themselves can be angry. There can be internal anger. And whenever there's an internal anger, So for the case of Mr. Kaput, Mr. Kaput is born in autumn. Therefore, this is autumn. So he's born in the season of autumn. And the season of autumn is where water is strong. Water is strong. And so when water is strong and wood is weak, therefore you may have this issue coming in as well, coming to the part. All right, so therefore this is a geo-destruction, which of course may have to do with alcohol, or it can also be do with sexual. But sexual normally also may be related to the rabbit, which is also another type, very similar to the part as well. All right. And of course, when the chart is cold, and fire is weak, therefore in Cantonese, kam sui to chen, therefore water, metal and water brings a lot of emotions. Therefore, the emotions may lead them to alcoholism or to drugs. All right. Therefore, people who have rat and rooster in their chart may have a risk of drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Okay, therefore you can read either drug addiction or alcohol addiction. Okay, so therefore this will be things that you can see it. I've got a few charts now. But this one has to do with a little bit of water as well. Maybe when it comes to water, we will also try to see that part as well. Okay, so now sometimes we do have, but some of them can also see that leading to alcoholism, leading to alcoholism is not necessary. Okay, it may not. You see, like for example, this person, his name is Charlie Sheen. So Charlie Sheen is an actor, which also has been known to be an alcoholic, known to be addicted and has alcoholism problem. And again here, this person is born in September in the month of autumn. Autumn is where the chart is cold and the water is strong. And he has a lot of water and he has a lot of matter. And therefore, again, cold chart, water, and he has one of the symbols, which is a rat. And so this will be when the rooster arrives. So when he sees the rooster, but rooster, remember, is about sin matter. Rooster is about sin matter. Okay. Therefore, when we talk about rooster and rat, we are talking actually about water. Technically, essentially, we are talking about metal and water combination. We're talking about a relationship between metal and water that brings about the alcoholism. All right, so therefore this will be just the part of the reading about health-related areas related to wood, related to the liver. Okay, remedy. So what can you do? Well, essentially, of course, what you can do is liver detox. Therefore, detox your liver and the telltale signs from your eyes and from your nails. And from the acupressure point of view, there's also another one on both your feet, on your big toe meeting your small toe, somewhere around there. Can you see the red dot? Can you see the red dot? No bones, no bones. You press the area, see whether pain or not. Pain or not. And recommendation, of course, is do this 3 times a week. And each time just about 15 seconds, 5 seconds, if you watch television, if you sit down, just continually to press, apply pressure and rub like a very light massage. And for any ladies who have menstruation problems, see whether it helps or not. Calms the mind, regulates the liver chi, and so on. So therefore, normally these are the 2 parts, the acupressure for relieving or to rejuvenate the liver chi. Is this part and also this part.
Mm.
Okay, well, experiment, see, let me know whether it feels anything. But of course, again, your telltale signs are your nails. If your nails are thin and brittle, if your nails break a lot, therefore this will be a telltale signs of a weak liver. One thing, look from your chart, looking at the chart. Okay, usually when the chart shows that the wood is weak, the wood is weak. So for Charlie Sheen, Charlie Sheen is born. So Charlie Sheen is born in, when is he born? So Charlie Sheen is born in September. So September is where wood is dead. Wood is dead. Therefore, wood is weak. Therefore, we talk about wood is weak. So when wood is weak, it means liver is weak. When wood is weak, liver is weak. And then a weak wood in a cold chart, with lots of water, metal, may also lead to liver problem. And since the main cause of liver problem is the liver is where you have a poison, so therefore the main problem is either alcohol, drugs, alcohol or drugs. But for most good people, like, I don't drink alcohol, I don't take drugs, but I do take a lot of medication, especially Panadol, So one of the most harmful part, especially into this part. So taking medication, taking drugs, taking alcohol will be that issue. When you have wood, when wood is weak, when the chart is cold, with strong water metal, therefore this will be the main issue. Then of course you may also have blood contamination. That may also come in as well. All right, so this will be how we can read the chart and also look into health related issues. And then if we can tie back to what we discussed last week, then we can also come to the point where we're getting closer to what we call the cause of death. The cause of death. The cause of death is normally the last element being clashed away. And so once the last one being clashed away, normally that will be the cause of death. The last one being clashed away. All right. Okay, so therefore this will be just looking into what we can cover for today. That's this. All right, people. Any other questions that you have? Okay. Other than that, it takes a lot more sour stuff. Okay, so next time you go for dinner, order sour plum, lemon. Take a lot of ACV, apple cider vinegar, to support your liver because sour plus. Kimte asked the question, what do you mean by the last element? Remember last week we talked about your natal chart. We talked about your natal chart. Except for the day master, you have your element. And so when the luck pillar clash, if the luck pillar clash this, then this is clash away already. It's clash away. Then later another luck pillar comes in and clash this away. Clashes away, clashes away, clashes away, clashes away. Therefore, which one is the last one to be clashed? If this one is the last one to be clashed, if this one is the last one to be clashed, by the luck pillar, last one to be clashed, this one happens to be fire, then heart attack. Okay, so which is the last one to be clashed away? Which is the last element that will clash away? Okay, can which is the last element to clash away? All right, then we can see what is the medical, what is the health related area. Now, more often than not, of course, again, more often than not, health will be the most common reading. To see. Okay, all right. So that will be just about for today. Today we cover wood. Wood. And health is a very complicated area. There's a lot of things to look into it. And for health pad, complex cup, please take, I'm sure you know, cooling stuff again to prevent fire, because remember fire weakens wood. So fire weakens wood. So heatiness will be a very bad sign to it. And of course, muscles and tendons are also related to this as well. But generally, of course, for external safety, those with wood, be careful of accidents. Be careful of being stabbed or being cut by metal when you meet metal externally. All right. So what are the remedies? Go for coffee enema, metal and wood clash. Go for donation of blood. Go for this acupressure to more or less to apply pressure points to trigger. Don't just activate your house all the time. Please activate your body as well. But activation for body, no need to look for dates on. No date selection. Anytime, please feel free to activate your meridian point. Don't just only focus on activating the meridian of your house. Also look for activating the meridian of your body. Into that part. All right. Okay, so that's it for the day. Hopefully, we have it's an acceptable sharing by all of us here. Yeah. Any other questions? Not, then we shall end the session for today. Great.
Thank you, David.
Okay, most welcome.
Thank you, David.
Pleasure. Thank you.